What's up, boys? It's your boy Nick. Back down here at the Rum Hut once again. Thank you once again for joining me. If you like this kind of content, if you are a Bomber fan like me, a struggling Bomber fan like me, mentally and physically, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and we can get through this together. So as everyone knows, just another tough game for the blue and gold. I had a few takeaways from this game. I wanted to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. I'll probably just lump the bad and the ugly together because it's the same thing. One thing that I had to get off my chest, and I'm just watching this Toronto and Edmonton game, and I just don't understand. How are the Bombers in the same league as the Toronto Argonauts? You can count on one hand. I bet you I could count when they pan to the crowd how many people are in that crowd. And not to be a dick, but we deserve a better team than they do. We deserve a better team than Edmonton does. We deserve a better team than, Calgary playing in a stadium from the 40s do. And that might be me having a big head, but that's what I believe. I believe that. The Bombers should not be in the same league as those teams. And yeah, hit the like if you agree with that. Hot takes aside, I just wanted to, obviously, I'll start with the positives from the game because it's so easy to talk about the negatives and dwell on, things that go on during a tough loss. But first off, I thought the offense actually looked much better than the first two games. If you watch the game, obviously you are going to be more aware. If you didn't watch the game, maybe this is a good way to catch up. On the whole, I thought they were just better. Zach Collaros was in control for the most part. Few missed plays, a few drop balls. I thought that one to Dembski was thrown pretty much perfectly and just out of his reach. He looked like he could have extended a little bit for it. So, on the whole, I thought that they looked much, much better. Brady not starting his first game, but his first game back since he got injured. I thought he looked excellent in the limited snaps that he played. I'm really, really happy to have him back because I think that he just adds another dimension to the team, gives Zach a little bit more comfort, makes him a little more comfortable with his pass blocking, and gives him another outlet to pass to, as well as puts a little doubt in the defense's mind. I think the other team's not really concerned about the running game as long as it's Johnny Augustine only back there. They are quite content to allow Johnny to get his 4 yards and just force us into a bit of a longer passing situation. Not that Johnny can't do more than that, but they are much less. I would say worried about the big play ability of Johnny as opposed to what we see out of Brady. On another note, this is jumping to the special teams side of the ball. I thought that our coverage was much, much better, limiting BC a bunch of times to very, very short returns, which was a big concern for me in the last game. I thought that was one of our real weak spots was the coverage. I thought the return game was also better. Chris Smith, new guy, bringing him back from the preseason. I thought he was head and shoulders better than Myron Mitchell. He should have never been cut in the first place. It was likely due to injury concerns, but he was the right guy to pick from the preseason. And I think we all knew that. It was probably an injury thing. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's quite obvious. And then my last positive was the defense actually held them to, I think, his 4 field goals. So you can imagine if some of those turned into touchdowns, that game would have been a completely different story, and that score would have been a lot uglier. So that's a positive. Keeping him in field goals is always positive, whether it's just them missing some throws or us making some good plays. That is definitely a positive in my books. And now for everyone's favorite part, the negative. I'm going to keep the negative kind of short, and I don't want to make these videos super, super long. I actually recorded a video this week for the preview show for the game, and oh my god, I recorded like a 30-minute video. Like, I have a busy day. I work, I do other stuff. Like, I just started running. I've done like 4 or 5Ks in the last couple days. You know, for a fat guy like me, I think that's pretty good. But you know, I didn't record the audio, so I went to go on edit, and it was no audio. So the negatives for this, like I said, I don't want to dwell too much, be too negative, because there's lots of negativity going around. It's very, very easy to be negative, especially in Bomberland. Like, we're so passionate. Everyone, you know, at the game, I am probably the most negative person. Once I have time to sleep on it, I get that second, the clarity, you know. Probably I got the Rum Hut goggles. So, you know, 24 hours after the game. My number one negative is the defense is fundamentally broken, okay? They are broken. I don't think it can be salvaged. I do not think this defense has any shot of doing anything all season. And I'll tell you why. And I said this in the first game. What did we see in the Grey Cup? We saw Montreal throwing screen passes. Screen pass after screen pass after screen pass. They hit us with a run. They hit us with a screen pass for 4 or 5 or 6 yards or 7 yards. And our defense, if you watch the DBs, the corners, they aren't watching the receiver. They are watching the quarterback. That is it. They do not watch the receiver where he's going. They only are watching the quarterback. And they are about 15 yards off, or, you know, maybe exaggeration, at least 10 yards off the receiver. At minimum, they are 10 yards away. So by the time the ball's there, they are unable to adjust, and the ball is already in their hands, and the receiver is already 7 yards downfield by the time we make a tackle. It is free yardage. I mean, and maybe if you had, in theory, if you had a perfect DB who reads the quarterback's eyes as soon as a throw, he finds the receiver and he makes a tackle, sure. These DBs, they don't have that. They cannot play this game. Clearly, we've seen it. It's now 4 or 5 games or whatever. They are unable to do this. So I don't know if it's just them trying to prevent stuff over their head. But this defense does not operate. They need to start doing more man-to-man. They need to stick with the receivers and, you know what, live and die by who's more athletic, who can make the adjustment in the air. You know, I think they made those changes originally when they started getting too many penalties, like the pass interference calls, and said, you know, it's safer for us to just sit back, read the quarterback's eyes, and make a play on the ball rather than following the receiver. So I see where that comes from, but it is not working. They need to mix it up. They can't always expect always going to be zone cushion coverage. If they know that's what's coming at them, they're just going to take what's given to them, and then they're going to wait for you to. Then they're going to make you think they're stopping, and then they're going over your head. And that happened 5 or 6 times last game. You know, the last play of the game, or not last play of the game, but second last or whatever. Holland, I think he had 215 yards because you start seeing things. You start thinking, oh, they're just doing a hitch again. Okay, well, now I gotta go, and he pump fakes you, and he just goes over your head. So I said I wasn't going to dwell on it. Now I've probably gone on for about 5 minutes on that. Anyways, that was my second point. It was just allowing the team to march down the field. Just gives them way too much confidence, and it makes it so easy for them. You've got the loudest crowd in the league by far. I've been to Regina a dozen times. I've been to the games. It does not compare to Investors Group Field. You cannot hear anything. And you give them confidence, and you're good. You're bound to just allow them to stick in the game, stay in the game, make them make throws, make them make plays. Don't allow them just to take and take and take, and then just wait until you bite and then go over your head. That's what you're doing. Anyways, my other one is injuries. We have no receivers left. I think we had Chris Streveler starting at slot back this game, for the second half. What do? we do not have the depth this year. I don't think we had the depth to start with, like for our starting players. Like besides the guys who came back, who were, I guess, stars on those big contracts. Aside from those guys, I don't think we even had guys then. Like I don't think we've seen a lot like really great from a lot of the rookies. I mean, Ontario Wilson, I've seen some drops. I've seen a couple pass completions. Carrick Wheatfall, injured. That was a non-contact injury. I think he's going to be out for a long time. Like Dalton Schoen. I didn't see the injury happen. I don't really know exactly the extent, but I read online he might be done for the year. So I just want to put it out there to Bomber Nation. And I said it before the season. If you go back to my video, I'm too lazy. I might edit this in. I said, sign Lucky Whitehead because we had no kick returner. But now we have no receiver. Lucky Whitehead does both. So fix both problems. There you go. Should have listened to me the first time. And you know what? My other point is, it goes back to the first thing I said in this video. We shouldn't be in the same league as these guys. I think we should just break the salary cap. Screw it. Give up a first round pick. I would be, if we could go and we could sign Sean Oakman, from Toronto, we could go and sign Lucky Whitehead, Brandon Banks or whoever. Just break the salary cap. Who gives a shit for a couple extra players? It's a community-owned team. If we get fined or whatever, it just comes out of the profits. Those profits are just going to go back to the league anyways. Who gives a shit? We're just going to get people on Reddit complaining, which nobody gives a shit about those people. But yeah, that's what I think they should do. Break the salary cap. Screw it. Come on, Kyle. Get us Lucky Whitehead. My last point, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet. This has been about a 10-minute video already. The Bombers just are not playing complementary football. And that is just, it's such a broad statement. But in the first two games, offense horrible. Offense was absolutely horrible. There's no defending it. It was just trash. And the defense was pretty good. They held Montreal to 27 points. Kept us in the game. Ottawa kept them to 23 points. I think they had less yards than we did. This game, the score is deceiving. The 3 field goals that we kept them to, sure, we stopped them in the red zone, or we stopped them when they're in field goal range. But that could have gone a completely different way, and I just don't believe it when O'Shea says stuff like we held them to field goals. That's what we're trying to do. You're trying to get 2 and outs. 2 and outs are way better than giving them 3 points. Like 2 and out is the best. 2 and out's the best. Oh, my head. Anyways, boys. Without losing my mind too much, even though I just did. 3-0, or opposite, 0-3. Big game in Calgary this week. Where do we go from here? I think if they don't sign a receiver between now and then, it's 0-4. But either way, boys, I believe in Kyle Walters. I believe in this program. And all I can say is, here we go, Bombers. Here we go. Here we go, Bombers. Here we go. Peace. Go Blue.